Hello everyone, this is Bigalski.
And JTB.
And this is Chapter 15 of the Xbox One release of Ninja Gaiden Black on normal. We're going through making all the time limits and end of chapter bonuses except for the essence. Now, this fight right here, it's after the Spirit Doku fight. So I just decided to make it as easy as possible. You know, just light the fire wheels and just UT and, you know, kill as many fish. Again, watch what they're going to do. I mess up here trying to, you know, try to get a UT before I should have. And, you know, it's going to cost me. But, hey, let me just light the fire wheel. See, like right there, I should have waited. I saw him coming. I should have waited. And one reason also why I jump back in the center, sometimes the UF, it'll lead you out the arena and then your time limit goes off. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, that really is annoying. Like the UF's UT is really good, but the if you look at like the kind of wind, I mean, you'll see it here as a perfect example. If you look at the wind up of the UT and like how far Ryu jumps forward, he does like a full kind of, you know, front flip forward, where like with the Warhammer here, he just kind of jumps, you know, up and down. There's not hardly anywhere near the travel time.
Well, what I wanted to show on this is, you know, having that Spirit Doku fight, and then you have this, and so this right here is what you ideally want to do. Use the Warhammer, and just you can UT everybody. But of course, I mess up a little bit. I don't want to light the fire wheels because I'm going to mess up on my UTs. Now, again, this is going for a full-blown karma run, and it's not something I've done. I just wanted to show this for people. So again, I'm getting a lot of UTs and everything, but watch what happens because I messed up just a little bit. And I just barely missed the time bonus. Guess what? I got to fight Spirit Doku over again. So that, you know, I'm not doing that, you know, on a run like this. But I'm just saying, if you don't care about score and UTs and all that stuff, then hey, just move on. But that's kind of the thing.
I
so
miss
frustrating.
smoke bombs. Seeing the smoke bombs. I've been playing HP1 a lot, which is Hurricane Pack 1, if anyone doesn't know. And it's rough to go back to not having smoke bombs. You really miss smoke bombs.
Now we
so
had talked
powerful.
about this. We had talked about this. Why, you know, it flips that camera back and forth, and it really messes me up. And I don't know why it does that, but you know, it does it in some of the missions on mission mode, especially CG1. You think you're going to go one way, and it reverses the camera. Then all of a sudden, you jump back into Nishay or, you know, Awakened Alma or something. But that's a little frustrating whenever that happens.
Yeah, it seems a lot less prevalent in Black than it did in NGO4, but it's really noticeable. Like, having played a lot more NGO4 the past few weeks, like that's happening a lot, and it is really annoying when because you a lot of the time out of situations like that, you will buffer in your next movement, and then to have it go like the opposite way to where you put in, you think, well, you know, why'd that happen? I don't really know, but
now in this fight right here, you can actually, if you get a good kill as you're UTing them, you don't need to light the fire wheels, and you can actually UT all the ghost fish. But again, because I was close to that rock and I didn't kill as many as I needed to do, I said, you know what, I'm just going to light the fire wheels and make the time bonus that way instead of, you know, struggling with it.
I'm trying to remember the level 1 Debilero UT. Is it 3 or 4 of them it takes to kill these guys? It's a lot, isn't it?
Oh man, that's been,
to...
yeah. That's the reason you almost have to have the low health UF if you're going to be farming. I actually, whenever I got in here the first time, I didn't do that, and I said, you know what, let me just go out and get down to low health and make it a lot easier on me.
Yeah, the low health is really great for stuff like this. I mean, with the fish, like that's a really good place to get low health, is to let the fish chomp on you and just kind of mash out.
I jumped right into it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I was going to talk about too, as I was running up to the fish, if you look at it, you see me kind of going left and right instead of just straight down the path, and all I can think of is Weeble saying, man, Al, can't you run straight? I mean, I've said it before on another video. It was like, no, I can't run straight. I don't know why. I'm going all over the place. But see, that ought to be, you know, good news for other people. It's like, man, this guy can't even go straight, but at least he can do some fights. So, you know, so there's hope. There's hope for other people. And look at this time limit. Look at this time limit.
Yeah, it's super short. There's an old saying for that, and it's really escaping me at this point, and I can't remember what it is. Yeah, I mean these time limits, it's kind of either or. If you go like full on with like fire wheels and the nunchucks, you can make the time limit. But it's one of the few examples really in the game where you really don't want to bother about the time limit. Ideally, you know, if you're on a full run, you'd be strategically saving like throughout the core. So you'd want to just kind of, if you can get like chained back-to-back heavy weapon UTs, you can get about 7 to 8 UTs in these Ghostfish fights. And that's going to be, you know, 35 to 40,000 points versus 10, you know, and a little bit of an extra kill bonus for making the time limit.
Right, and you know, I thought about that, but again, the goal of this is making the time limits, you know, versus the UT. So that's the reason why, you know, I made sure that I, you know, made the time limit. But yeah, I could have actually got some more UTs out of that with the heavier weapons. But again, you know, and here too, you surely don't want the level 3, because I think I finished this with a lot of. I could probably.
Oh yeah, you definitely
over.
want to farm this with the level 1 deliverer. Yep.
Yeah.
One thing to note as well, you saw it there actually, it's a really good example. Don't underestimate the hitbox on those pillbugs. Like, you know that kind of jump move they do? It looks pretty straightforward, but like the hitbox of that actually extends way past like where you would think it would, so it can knock you out of the air like really, really easily. So
well, that's what it did to me, because I was really
again.
surprised. Yeah, I was really surprised that hit me. You know, one of the things that we didn't get a chance to completely talk about, but is the Ghostfish stagger whenever they grab you. How, you know, one grabs and, didn't you say it like resets?
Yeah. If you don't have, I mean, it only really applies if you have the Nimpo turned off on the face buttons. Like, but every time, if they latch onto you one at a time, like it will constantly reset the stagger until they stop hitting you. Now, some like the Ghostfish will latch onto you and do a certain amount of damage, and then they'll just like get off you eventually. If they hit you one at a time, that just means they're going to do like each of their max damage on each hit. Which is why these fights in particular are pretty dangerous, because if you see the way they're laid out, you know, one after the other in a perfect line, whereas in the fights in like chapter 14, they're in a group, so 2 of them might latch onto you, and in that animation the rest of them can't, so they'll just kind of go back to their idle animation and you can just mash out of the attack, whereas here, like, even with the health bar this big, like, that can go in a split second.
Right.
Even on normal. Like, they really can drain your health astonishingly quickly.
Well, I ended up foregoing a UT to put my fortune on to, you know, get an extra Nimpo, then I forgot to change it back. So, you know, that cost me a little bit. But again, that's something, if you're low on Nimpo or didn't get a chance to go to Miramasa, you know, use that fortune to get some of your Nimpo back if you think you're going to need it.
You know what I'd love is like a mod or an extra mode where you could just wear all the armlets at once. So like one of his arms was one of his left arm was just like covered in armlets up to his shoulder. I just think that'd look really funny.
And it would do everything at once too. God, could you imagine all that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like imagine having like Tranquility, Fortune, Sun, Moon, Celerity, and Benediction on all at once.
It's funny, on the first level it's like 16 seconds. This one's 18 seconds. But there's a way to get 3 or 4 UTs if your timing's right. Again, listening to, like, I think I get 3 here. I didn't have to, if I didn't like that other one, and UT, like, you can get 4, but it's such a pain to do that.
One thing to note about the fish as well, I mean, if anyone's been watching this long, you probably noticed, like, they don't really have a death animation like any other enemy. So when they die, that's it. You know how you kill any other enemy, you have to wait for them to dissolve. You know, you have to wait for their animation to play out, whereas the fish just die. You know, they just disappear.
I tell you what would have helped me out a lot here is if I had just, like, dropped some smoke bombs earlier. My favorite thing, the wall cling.
One thing as well about the laser crabs, I think we may have mentioned it in another video, I can't remember in this series, but if you're having trouble with them, if you have your Inferno Nimpo leveled up, level 3 Inferno will one-shot these guys up until, I think, even very hard with Armlet of the Sun on.
Look how long he stayed in that doorway there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but,
finish, yeah.
But I'm just saying, yeah, if you're having trouble with them, like, just light up your Inferno. Get them like right next to each other, and then hit them with Inferno. And even if it doesn't kill them, like on Master Ninja, like one forward Y will take them out. Because they are a pretty tough enemy when you're brand new to the game. They're very aggressive. They do a lot of damage.
Look at this, and you don't want to see right there that slope and the angle of the railing right there. that's a bad place to try to UT. I mean, obviously I missed it. Right
that was
there.
weird, yeah, too, because that actually killed enemies, but you didn't get a point bonus for it.
Right.
I'm not sure if that might have been the fire wheels, or I don't really know.
No, that's happened a couple times before. So what I'm going to do here on the core, or on this part of it right here, is I'm just going to do the low health UF, but then I'm going to show a couple new things, at least new things to me. They're probably old to some other people, but on Hydrocubus and Marvis. Again, I missed out a lot of points here, but again, it doesn't matter.
I like how Marvis just kind of sat there.
Well, I don't inspire him to move.
He just sat there while you were just killing all his health. It's like, yeah, fight this guy again. You've killed him twice already, but the third time he'll get you this time.
Right. See, there's a better move than that, and I always mess it up. I was tried to throw my exploding shuriken and missed it at the very beginning, and ended up doing the XX, come down with the Y or whatever. So I always mess this stuff up. I have to think too much now, and my reflexes don't go with my brain sometimes. So I do the simple things that I can do. Now here, one reason that we've done this is, even if you're holding block, you could absorb that blue, and I really don't want to absorb that blue. And then this right here,
swore that never happened.
Yeah, it used to not happen. Now this is something one of my friends on xBIGALSKIx, xBIGALSKIx, he has some videos, and we were talking one day, and I was looking through his videos, and he had this clip up there. And I mean, this is me doing it, but this was inspired by him. I've never seen this before, and if you can actually kill him in 2 full combos, or after the Nimpo, but you want to make sure you UT, then Gleaming Blade, then UT on the last blue, and then when you light up the fire, or excuse me, the Inferno, and hope it knocks both the tentacles off. And again, that's level 3 Inferno. Again, this is not normally what I would normally do, but again, it's something a little bit different. And I think I had the celerity on, which is why, I just barely didn't kill him. But that's a really good combo to kill him pretty fast, and it's pretty safe.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I've never seen like level 3 Inferno used on it. It's not something I ever thought of doing.
Yeah, and that's one reason I like watching other people's videos, because you just never know where you're going to learn something. So again, xBIGALSKIx, thank you for having that up and giving me an idea and showing it to everybody. So
I kind of wish Ice Storm was better on Hydrocubus, because it's like the one you'd think he'd be the perfect enemy to use it on, because he can't move, and like every single hit of it hits him. But yeah, have you ever used Ice Storm on Hydrocubus?
No. I never even pick it up hardly anymore, or I don't upgrade, or I don't do anything with the ice. I never have. Now also, I have to go back down to low health after picking up a blue, the blue earlier. So anyway, I'm telling you, man, having a good core fight, or this upper part of the core with the low health UF, it can be tough, man.
Yeah, it is, especially if you're like, the thing is keeping your low health. Like if you like absorbing a health orb, it might sound weird, but like absorbing a health orb is the last thing you want to do, because then you're gonna have to get that health back, and the only way to get that health back is get hit. If you're getting hit, that's time you're wasting in a fight, which should be used, spent getting points. So
right. And I only fought Jotun Frau just this one way, because in the what was it, chapter 10? No, he's in chapter 12. Golly, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, he's in chapter 12, and I showed a couple different ways to fight him there. So again, anybody wants to go back and watch that. I really thought that was going to connect, but he actually jumped away, I guess, whenever the guy came up. And
yeah, Marvis's AI is actually pretty good for avoiding the UF-UT. But the heavy weapons do work on him pretty well, especially the Debiliter. You've got a lot of range on him like that. But I mean, like, the amount of damage that the UF one does. I mean, what's that? Is that 2 UTs and he's virtually dead? Like
I said, this is a really good run, because like you said, he can definitely dodge it a lot. And if you're just doing jump XXY to try to get some chip damage, even though it's with the UF, you can run out of the time limit. So I was actually really happy with that Marvis fight.
Yeah, you have to be careful with doing like jump XXX on him as well, because if he does his ground slam, you're going to get hit. Like, there's no way to evade that because that string has such bad recovery, and of course that's going to cost you a talisman.
Now this right here, again, I saw this on xBIGALSKIx's, and I mean this has been shown a long time ago. I'd just actually forgotten all about it. I think Fatman67, like 10 or 11 years ago, he was so good. He showed that you could stun lock him, and then this string is just XXXY, but you can also do XXYB, XXYB. But I was telling JTB, that's 3 buttons, and I'm only good with 2. So
you can use the nunchucks too if you want to get a really big combo, which is fun to do.
And that's just kind of X, X, X.
You just do X, yeah. You just do the first X string, that like 3-hit string at the start of the like the main nunchuck string. That's a very bizarre opening for normal. She's not usually that aggressive on normal.
No, she saw me coming. But this right here is, I did this a couple different ways. Since my Inferno and Inazuma was still at level 3 from my other save for showing the Marbus and the Hydrocubus, I decided to do this without doing UTs and just Gleaming Blade and level 3 Inferno Nimpo. Again, you can move with the platforms and all that stuff, but just blast the crap out of her with the level 3 Inferno.
Yeah, Inferno is really, really strong. They did tone it down quite a bit from NGO4, but it's still like probably the best Nimpo. Like when you're new to the game, it's so strong.
Right.
And it's just it's kind of never a bad idea to do it. You know, if you're in a bad spot, just light up Inferno. You're gonna kill something.
Well, and then this way right here again, I wanted to show another way. Here I've seen a lot of people use the Dragon Sword when all these skulls come and they just get overwhelmed. Just use the flails. You know, you could almost just do XXX jump X. And then I want to show I think Kiori was the first to show this. Was he the first to show this? The fire wheels and then Gleaming Blade, or hold, you know, to charge up your Gleaming Blade. And then do that.
I can't remember who was the first to show it actually.
We always just go default Kiori because that's...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I saw anyone do it. I can't remember. I don't think I've seen anyone do it, at least recently.
Oh yeah, recently no, but I think again, who knows? I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and check the tapes
right,
on that
right.
one.
And here was something JTB was telling me I'd never even thought about. You know, these are armor piercing, so I think I go from 73 to 77.
Look at that. Yeah, you see that chunk? Yeah, just there. Yeah. That was massive.
Yeah. So again, just flails, you know, and
you
actually
can have
the
fire wheels
cremator
lit here too. Yeah, if you like fire wheels and cremator, which is the XX forward X string with the flails. But yeah, fire wheels is like a bit of added insurance when they're coming at you.
Right. See, I didn't even, because I never do it that way. I mean, I've really kind of limited myself sometimes on. I'm always so used to playing a certain way, so you know I should have lit the fire wheels, and that's good for people who are learning. Use the flails and XXX jump X to deal with the skulls, you know, when they're coming at you, and jump out of the skull's way if you don't want to use the Inferno. Mm-hmm. But the only reason I kind of showed to the end here is to show, you know, I had a pretty good run with the first boss and then the second one, but now I'm going to show kind of what I would normally always do. And now my Inferno's at level 2, so you can see it lights a lot faster. It's good to usually just get past the lasers and then start charging up again.
Yeah, that's one thing to note about Nimpos for anyone not familiar. Level 1 and level 2 Nimpos have the same animation but do a lot more damage. It's only at level 3 that you get like the really long Nimpo animations. And
remember, after you kill 2 of the 3 items on her body that you have to kill, you can charge up and start moving.
You have control over Ryu, don't you? Yeah.
Right. And here's something else too going into this. You want to be able to, because this is the trick. I mean, some really genius guy came up with that. That's so old. We say that every time, but anyway.
Yeah, it was probably Kiori.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, because I know I could never think of anything like that. But anyway, yes, I came up with this one. That's because I had a hard time. But anyway, you want to make sure your health is low so you don't have to go around. I think in some of my earlier videos, you know, jumping around in the lava to go to low health. But if you're already at low health, like I was at the beginning of that, you don't have to worry about wasting any time.
Exactly.
You know, so again, just, you know, that stuff it needs to be considered if you're playing for score. And again, it's a lot more complicated than just, you know, than not playing for score, in my opinion.
It's funny how much extra Nimbo you have, even though, like, you think about how much you're using.
Right. Yeah, I hadn't used any of it up until that point right there.
Rio's auto aim being fantastic.
Yeah, because I actually had a clip where I shot like 6 arrows and it hit nobody, you know. But anyway, that's the end of that. The time limit's 30 minutes. Again, I could have saved a lot more if I wanted to. The kills are 380. But look at the score difference versus the other one. It was over 150,000 points different doing the Inazuma trick on the final form. So it's worth a lot of points, guys. But that's it. We'll see you in Chapter 16.
Take care, guys.